don't have any guests in the studio yet. Not sure. I don't believe we have any guests scheduled today. I know it has been some time now where we have not been, or we have not had the opportunity to have those phone lines open for you to call in and to converse as well, while many of you would prefer to do that when we have guests in the studio, in particular, your elected representatives. And in most of those cases, they actually welcome the calls as well. But as you know, we have a limited amount of time here on the show, so we try to balance that time between calls and between our guests getting the pertinent, getting out the relevant information that they want to you to have as well. I'm reliably advised that our YouTube is now working as well, so you should be able to follow us on YouTube. We urge you to do that as well. So let's look at the birthdays this morning. And first of all, I want to say we did a poll. Did we do a poll? I'll say we did one even if we didn't. And all of our Radio Cayman listeners they're all number one fans. Every one of them. So Miss Charlene Rivers, who is celebrating her birthday today, she is also a number one fan of Radio Cayman as well. So we want to wish Miss Charlene Rivers a happy birthday today. Also, I am advised that Captain Arlen Brooks is celebrating his birthday today as well. We want to wish him a happy birthday. Then we see Wesley Price celebrating a birthday today. David Joseph also celebrating his birthday today. Miss Mitzi Callan celebrating her birthday today. Happy birthday to Miss Mitzi Callan. Mr. Dominic Dakers also celebrating a happy birthday. So Dominic Dakers, happy birthday to you as well. And I believe we have a few people, one person that we know of who's celebrating a birthday tomorrow, and that person is Joyce Rogers, celebrating a birthday tomorrow as well. So to all of those persons celebrating a birthday today, we want to wish you a happy birthday and want to say to you, whatever you do, do it in moderation as well. And again, to our number one fan, Miss Charlene Rivers, a big happy birthday to you today. Okay, let's see what we can do on the Miss Susan, you may want to check the WhatsApp. We have a sound bite on the WhatsApp as well. Let's see what we can do in terms of imparting information to our audience out there. We know that the flu season is approaching us, if it is not already here as well. And I will share with you the flu vaccine schedule for the month of October to November. And for those of you who are interested, you can find that flu vaccine schedule, on www.hsa.ky/event -classes/vaccinations/flu. I am not sure that anyone can remember all of that, even if you have a photographic memory. So I would venture to say if you just Google www.hsa.ky and then go into events, then from there you can navigate your way through the schedule to find the schedule there. So let's look at what's taken place. So today, the 23rd, the flu vaccine is available at the district health centers from 2 p.m. until 4 p.m. You can also receive it at the General Practice on Smith Road Medical Center from 2 to 4 p.m. And Brackers, we haven't forgotten you. You can go to the Aston Ruddy Center Medical Wing, Aston Ruddy Medical Wing. Let me start that all over. For those of you in Cayman Brac, you can go to the Aston Ruddy Medical Wing from 3 p.m. until 4:30 p.m. So the flu vaccine is available. We know that after COVID, after so many conspiracy theories, and they're still abounding. And I guess it will be another decade before we really know, what the quote truth is in relation to the COVID vaccine. But we know certainly that the flu is real as well. And you can prevent yourself from either catching it or having adverse effect from the flu if you vaccinate yourself as well. And those of you who may not want to vaccinate, and I'm not a medical doctor, so I'm not in any way purporting to give you advice, but if you do take over-the-counter medication, then the advice to you would be to read up on it, and if necessary, consult your medical physician, your doctor, as well before you take it. But the flu vaccine is available at the district health centers from 2 p.m. until 4 p.m. today. General practice on Smith Road, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Cayman Brac, the Aston Ruddy Medical Wing, 3 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. Tomorrow, on the 24th, district health centers, again, 2 to 4 p.m. General practice, 2 to 4. Cayman Brac at the Aston Ruddy Medical Wing, 3 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. And also tomorrow, Foster's Savannah from 5 to 9 p.m. So they're trying to catch those persons who may be at work, stopping at the store to do their shopping as well. So Foster's Savannah, that's at the Countryside Shopping Center from 5 p.m. until 9 p.m. tomorrow. Folks, we're going to take our first commercial break. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, he hath founded it upon the seas.
George Wellenward Bodden.
1924 to 1993.
George W. Bodden, son of Blucha and Toslin Bodden, was educated at the one-room schoolhouse in East End. In 1942, he joined the Military Defense Force of the Jamaica Home Guard, in which he became a non-commissioned officer. He married Aloda Rankin, with whom he had 2 children. He became a seaman in 1946, and from 1948 to 1967, he worked for national bulk carriers. When he retired from sea, his engineering experience earned him a supervisory position with a local construction company that erected Cayman's first steel building. During the construction of Owen Roberts Airfield, Mr. Bodden was a supervisor with the contractors. He served East End as mailman, shoemaker, scoutmaster, and organist, and built the first upstairs movie theater. He was the first in East End to use electricity in his home, and later owned the district's first satellite dish. He was the United Church's full-time organist. George W. Bodden was a trustee for the International College of the Cayman Islands from 1976 until his death.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Rotary Central Hurricane Awareness 2023. Fellow citizens, guest workers, visitors, we are in hurricane season, June through November. To survive a hurricane, you must be prepared, be ready. Know to shop for food, water, medicines before the storm comes our way. Know to secure special supplies for your infant, the elderly, loved ones with limited mobility. Know to keep your food safe, preparing for power outages, emergency lights, batteries, emergency power for your medical devices. Know to consult your physician as you prepare. Know to service that generator, fuel, oil. Know beforehand where to shelter that is safe, secure, strong. Know your important documents are secure, within reach, and dry. Know to photograph your travel documents, insurance particulars. Know who to trust, where to get reliable updates, directions, and guidance. Know how and where to secure your car before the storm, to disconnect that battery before a surge. A message from Rotary Central, creating hope in the world.
Your dream home starts with a vision, and often inspiration is at the heart of that vision. Brand Source Home Gallery's in-house designers are here to help bring your vision to life. Whether you're remodeling or building a new home, Brand Source Home Gallery is your one-stop solution. Explore their kitchen cabinets, sinks, faucets, bath fixtures, tubs, vanities, and more. Let Brand Source's designers help and inspire you with your next project. Call 623-5000 and schedule an appointment with a design expert at Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, serving Cayman for 50 years.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
Ready for more fun, more data, and endless connections? Digicel's all-new postpaid plans got you covered. Get more entertainment data for Netflix, Spotify, YouTube, and TikTok. Endless social data for WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Roaming data for the USA, Canada, and the Caribbean. And more international minutes than ever before. Stay connected on the fastest, most reliable network in Cayman. Make the switch today. Digicel. Better connected.
It's party season, which means it's pizza boat season. Aren't you tired of the same boring pizza? It's time to party. All aboard the pizza boat. Birthday parties, holiday functions, office luncheons, game nights. Whatever your occasion, bring the fun with Pizza Boat, a Cayman twist to pizza. Bringing fusion ingredients from all over the globe to give you locally inspired fresh pizzas. All day, every day. What's more, now you can enjoy a boat-shaped pizza with toppings of your choice. It's Pizza Boat in Queens Court on West Bay Road. Open daily from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. and Fridays until 3 a.m. Pickup or delivery 949-0000 or get it online at www.pizzaboat.ky. Pizza Boat. Experience the ultimate pizza voyage.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning. Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We have about 7 minutes before we go to our 8 o'clock news. I want to share some good news with you. People are always criticizing various departments. Sometimes they're justified in their criticism. Other times they criticize from the couch, but they really don't know what's taking place behind the scenes as well. Work is one of those entities that sometimes get their share of criticism. So they, on the 20th of October, released some good news. Friday, 20th of October. And it says 3 Caymanian apprentices complete their healthcare certification. And I will share that with you. 3 Caymanian ladies have completed an intensive core certificate program within the first year of the 2-year apprenticeship program and are now fully eligible to practice as healthcare assistants in the Cayman Islands. The trio comprising Ashley Swaby, who embarked on this path on May 30th, 2022, Latasha Powell, also beginning on May 30th, and Tishwana Gauntlet, joining the ranks on September 20th, 2022. They are now well prepared to make meaningful contributions to the local healthcare scene. These significant accomplishments are the fruits of a collaboration between Workforce Opportunities and Residency Cayman Work and Integra Healthcare. The program was developed to provide each apprentice with 2 years of structured on-the-job practical experience and guidance, at the end of which they will have earned a care certificate. Here's a quote. Seeing the success of our apprenticeship program in collaboration with Integra Healthcare has been truly inspiring. The dedication and growth of these young Caymanians highlight the potential of such initiatives. And that's a remark made by work director, Mr. Jeremy Scott. He goes on to say, we wholeheartedly encourage each other Caymanians to seize similar opportunities, ensuring a brighter and more skilled future for our country. And that's another quote attributed to Mr. Jeremy Scott. Goes on to say that the apprenticeship initiative with Integra Healthcare is merely one amongst several opportunities open to Caymanians who sign up with work. In 2023, it was amongst the 6 training and development contracts facilitated by work in collaboration with the following partners: the Wellness Center, Innovative Management and Professional Training, that's IMPT, Inspire Cayman Training Limited, ICT, International College of the Cayman Islands, ICCI, and the Cayman Career Academy, CCA. Currently, there are several training and development opportunities underway, namely Inspire Cayman's core curriculum course, which starts on October the 23rd, that is today, along with cohort 39 of Passport to Success and the Ready to Work program, which are geared towards Caymanians who require tooling and upskilling in accessing and maintaining long-term employment. New course opportunities available for 2024 will be released in November as well. Honorable Isaac Rankin, Minister of Labor, is noted noted that, and I quote, "This apprenticeship program symbolizes the success of the collaboration between work and Integra Healthcare, which creates opportunities for Caymanians to shine in the healthcare sector. Congratulations to our newest healthcare assistants, embodying the spirit of Cayman resilience and progress." He goes on to say, we remain committed to our vision of fostering more such collaborations to open up future training and development opportunities for young Caymanians to take up careers in various industries across the Cayman Islands. We look forward to seeing the positive impacts these 3 young professionals will make in their respective fields. And that's a statement made by Ms. Catherine Whitaker, who's the head of Work Labor Demands Development Training. So we want to congratulate those 3 young ladies on their achievements. Want to encourage them to continue. Don't stop there. Continue to move up the ladder. Continue to ensure that you have the right skills that will assist you in reaching the goals that you have set for yourself. And at the same time, we hope that this is an encouragement to more of our young Caymanians to get involved. We complain about foreigners taking the jobs. Sometimes many of those complaints are justified, but at the same time, we need to do our part as well. And at the same time, those Caymanians who are in HR positions who can have an impact on the employment of Caymanians, we urge you to do your part as well. Don't stay behind the curtains and do nothing to assist your young Caymanians. Folks, top of the hour, the 8 o'clock news. When we return, we will have a special guest on the phone with us talking about the political scene here in the Cayman Islands as well. Don't change that dial, please. Stay tuned for the record. We'll be back immediately after the 8 o'clock news.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm April Cummings. New Royal Cayman Islands Police Commissioner Kurt Walton announces a series of district meetings are being held, beginning in Cayman Brac tomorrow, followed by another on Wednesday in Little Cayman. The Brac meeting will be held at the Multipurpose Hall from 6 to 8 p.m., and then in Little Cayman at Beach Resort, more of a meet and greet from 10 a.m. to noon. Then the Commissioner heads back to Grand Cayman for a meeting in Bodentown with additional district meetings through the 9th of November across the island. We'll have details on the bulletin board and on our website at radiocayman.gov.ky. Workforce opportunities and residency Cayman offices in Cayman Brac have moved to a new location. They are no longer inside the district admin building and can now be found behind it in a new office space at the District Administration Annex building in Unit 2. The new office will be open to customers starting today. The office hours will remain the same, though, Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 4. Older Persons Month is in full swing with senior citizens enjoying a wide range of events.
Older Persons Month has continuously created events and activities for our seniors to enjoy, from tea parties to garden tours, gala events and socials. Each have been an opportunity for our older persons to get out, be active, stay engaged, and to mix and mingle. This year's schedule of activities is no different, and there are many activities for all of you to be involved in.
Minister for Culture and Heritage, the Honorable Bernie Bush, addressed the crowd at the recent senior talent show at the Harkwell Theatre. Mr. Bush says it is important for us to continue engagement and learning from our older generation as it increases awareness and preservation of our culture and heritage. There is more to come for Older Persons Month, including a sports day at the Truman Baden Sports Complex on the 28th and a fun day on the Brac on the 25th.
I don't want no chip up potato, give me my dumpling hole.
The Cayman Islands folk singers there performing at the grand opening of the Intergenerational Hub on Grand Cayman Friday. The folk singers are celebrating their 14th anniversary, coincidentally, and are holding a special concert to mark the occasion. It's called Under the Breadfruit Tree and promises to be a celebration of Caymanian music and culture over refreshments and special cocktails. Tickets are available at ticketsplus.ky. That is your local news at this hour. I'm April Cummings. Now let's check in with the BBC for stories making headlines around the world.
BBC News with Danielle Yawowiecka. Israel has kept up its intensified bombardment of the Gaza Strip, with dozens of the latest strikes in the south of the territory. The Israelis had told Palestinians to go to southern Gaza for their own safety ahead of a possible ground offensive. Hamas says the Israeli bombardment of Gaza has killed more than 5,000 people. The head of the main United Nations agency helping Palestinians in Gaza says hundreds of truckloads of aid are needed every day, rather than the few dozens which have been allowed in so far. According to Egyptian media, a third convoy of more than a dozen aid trucks has entered the Rafah crossing from Egypt, bound for Gaza. The Supreme Court in Pakistan has ruled that military trials of civilians are unconstitutional. The judges said all such trials of those held in connection with the violence in the aftermath of the arrest of the former Prime Minister Imran Khan in May should be null and void. The Supreme Court in Nigeria has begun hearing a challenge to President Bola Tinubu's election victory earlier this year. Two of the main opposition candidates, Atiku Abubakar and Peter Obi, have asked the court to overturn the judgment of a lower court which upheld the original result. The president-elect of the Maldives, Mohamed Muiz, has called on India to withdraw all its troops from the country. There are about 75 Indian military personnel based there. Denmark's Deputy Prime Minister and Economy Minister, Jakob Ellemann-Jensen, has resigned from both positions with immediate effect. Mr. Ellemann-Jensen, who is 50, also announced that he would leave Danish politics altogether. And the legendary Indian cricket captain Bishan Singh Bedi has died aged 77. Bedi, regarded as one of the all-time greats of Indian cricket, was known for his spin bowling which could bamboozle batsmen. Commentators described him as an artist at work. BBC News.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Buttontown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin, or the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Buttontown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman with the latest up-to-date, accurate news and information. For your convenience, the headline news will be repeated on our sister station, Breeze 105.3 FM, weekdays at 8:30 a.m. Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or download the Radio Cayman app in the App Store or log on to www.radiocayman.gov.ky and stay connected to what's happening in the community. Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Time to text the group chat. Direct flights from Grand Cayman to Barbados are officially here. Starting October 18th, you can now plan your Barbados getaway or family reunion with a non-stop flight via Cayman Airways. Weekly flights starting October 18th and twice weekly flights on Tuesdays and Thursdays begin November 7th, 2023. To book your flight today, call Cayman Airways Reservations at 1-800-422-9626 or book online at CaymanAirways.com. So pack your bags and get ready. Barbados is now closer than ever.
Whether it's routine care or highly complex surgery, when it comes to your health, you want the best. Health City has Cayman's most comprehensive range of in-house medical services. Recognized for quality and excellence, Health City brings together expert doctors, the best technology, and the latest techniques to understand your health and ensure you get the care you need. From Camana Bay to East End, you can trust the team at Health City. Health City, world-class healthcare within your reach.
Healthcare Pharmacy, caring about your health for the past 25 years. Radio Cayman's premier health show.
Alzheimer's and dementia, are they the same disorder?
Yeah, I think that's a very important question.
For the Health of It with Tara Bush.
For the Health of It with Tara Bush. Is heard on Saturdays at 9:30 a.m. and on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Brought to you by Healthcare Pharmacy in Grand Harbor, where they care about your health. Transfer and refill your prescription online. Visit healthcarepharmacy.com or call 947-8900. Healthcare Pharmacy, now with a second location in Governor's Square. Healthcare Pharmacy, where they care about your health.
The 8 a.m. weather report brought to you by CG Britcay, where people come first.
Good morning. Let's take a look at the latest weather report. Current temperature is 82 degrees. Relative humidity is 89%. The barometric pressure is 29.88 inches and rising. The wind is out of the east at 6 knots. Overnight low temperature was 80 degrees. Synopsis indicate an upper level trough will support cloudy skies and isolated thunder showers for the next 24 hours as moisture from the southwest Caribbean is drawn over the Cayman area. Satellite images show scattered to broken multi-layered cloud coverage extending north from the eastern coast of Nicaragua to the Cayman area. The National Hurricane Center is issuing advisories on Hurricane Tammy, which at last check was located about 230 miles northwest of Anguilla. Hurricane Tammy is moving towards the north at 10 miles per hour, with maximum sustained winds of 80 miles per hour. This system poses no threat to the Cayman Islands. For further information, visit www.nhc.noaa.gov. Now, the forecast for the Cayman Islands calling for cloudy skies with a 40% chance of showers and thunder. Temperatures will be in the upper 80s. Winds will be east to northeast at 10 to 15 knots with higher gusts, and seas will be moderate with wave heights of 3 to 5 feet for tonight. And the forecast for tonight calling for cloudy skies with a 40% chance of showers and thunder, and temperatures falling to the upper 70s tonight. Winds will be east to northeast at 15 to 20 knots, and seas will be moderate to rough with wave heights of 4 to 6 feet. Small craft should exercise caution over open waters. Low tide will be this morning at 11:25, high tide this evening at 5:58. The sun will set this evening at 5:55 and will rise tomorrow morning at 6:24. And the outlook is calling for a high-pressure system which is expected to build over the southeastern United States, leading to fresh to strong northeast winds and rough seas from tomorrow morning. A decrease in showers and cloudiness is expected also tomorrow morning as the upper level trough weakens and the area of low pressure over the southwest Caribbean to drift across Nicaragua. And that's the very latest on your weather report.
Mr. Campbell, we have your test results. Do you want the good news or the bad news first?
Good news. No, wait, bad news. Give it to me straight, doctor.
Your blood work came back. You've got erythrocytes all over.
Oh no, this can't be happening.
Here's the good news. That just means red blood cells. It's a good thing. You're completely fine.
With 99% of medical claims paid in 5 days, we're like a doctor who doesn't want to be a comedian. CG Britcay. Good like that.
The 8 a.m. weather report brought to you by CG Britcay, where people come first.
During these unprecedented times, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Cayman Strong Series. The Cayman Strong Series is brought to you by Encourse Cayman. Visit encourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. Encourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
Change your thinking. Change your life. Practicing forgiveness is a healthy habit.
As pastor and best-selling author Gary Chapman wrote in his book, The 5 Love Languages, How to Express Heartfelt Commitment to Your Mate, forgiveness is not a feeling, it is a commitment. It is a choice to show mercy, not to hold the offense up against the offender. Forgiveness is an expression of love.
Change your thinking. Change your life.
During these unprecedented times, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Cayman Strong Series. The Cayman Strong Series is brought to you by Encourse Cayman. Visit encourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. Encourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
These days, feelings of loneliness, anxiety, stress, and depression can be overwhelming. Just know you are not alone. On-Course Cayman offers private mental health services for children, teens, adults, and groups. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. On-Course Cayman. Health, wellness, and happiness.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips for all occasions and celebrations. Let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
Top of the morning to you. Let's take a look this time at traffic. Coming from the east, expect some delays as you're heading down to Georgetown. Shamrock Road traffic is steady, some sections busy, and steady traffic heading to Georgetown on Crew Road, Holden Avenue, and Bobby Thompson Way. Steady traffic. As we look to downtown Georgetown on Edward Street, traffic is moderate, and moderate flow of traffic as well on Godfrey Nixon Way and Eastern Avenue. And coming from the West Bay 4-way stop, traffic is flowing at a good pace. On the West Bay Road in front of the Ritz, traffic is steady but flowing, and steady traffic coming off of the Estella Tibbetts Highway. Slight delays expected. Northtown Road, moderate flow of traffic heading towards the Industrial Park area. That's the very latest on your traffic. Join us again at about 10 minutes after 12. We'll give you another traffic report.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
From a haunted house to haunted caves, Crystal Caves brings the Scream this Halloween, Tuesday, October 31st from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Fun for all the kids with costume contests, tricks and treats to nibbles and eats. Admission only $10. Book at 925-3001 or 949-2283 or book online at CaymanCrystalCaves.com. Take a tour of the haunted Crystal Caves, Tuesday, October 31st from 6:30 p.m. to 9 p.m.
RC Fusion.
Monday to Thursday.
10 a.m. to 12 p.m.
Fridays. Radio Cayman.
Biggest variety in the morning. Biggest variety.
RC Fusion.
Following the 10 a.m. news headline. Biggest variety in the morning.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matter. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. Before we go to the phone lines, we do have another birthday greeting. Zeke Ebanks is celebrating his birthday today, and so we want to wish him a happy birthday. Zeke is also the nephew of Miss Zeta Mae Borden, and if you don't know who Miss Zeta Mae is, 9 times out of 10, if you're at a community event or maybe even a government function, you will see her there with her camera, And if you're in the government administration building, and if you go over to the registry, that's where she is as well. But the focus is today on Zeke Ebanks, who's celebrating his birthday, not on Miss Zeta May, but I want to give her that plug as well. So happy birthday, Zeke Ebanks. Let's go to the phone lines. Miss Susan, caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, OC. How are you doing this morning, sir?
Good morning, Minister. I'm fine. How are you?
Not too bad, not too bad. You can hear me well?
Hearing you loud and clear.
Okay. Special good morning to Ms. Susan as well. Thank you for always being there in the background, making sure everything is functioning well and going well. I just thought I would take the opportunity to call in this morning because I know that you didn't have any particular guests on the show as I was listening to you when you started. But to say, a special good morning to my constituents of Georgetown Central and everybody in the Cayman Islands as a whole. Today is Monday. It's a brand new start of a new week, and we start off with some positivity. Maybe the week will go well. But also to let them know that, I'm traveling this morning. I'm heading to Trinidad to act on my behalf of the chairman of the Caribbean Organization to speak at the Caribbean Bankers Association conference, where I'm trying to get the Caribbean region to facilitate more funding availability for small businesses. As you know, small businesses are the key cornerstone to any kind of strong economy, and particularly with tourism, that those mom and pop shops are the ones that offer the best authentic tourism products. Mm-hmm. And sometimes the opportunity for young entrepreneurs or people who want to grow those small authentic products can't do so because they don't have enough capital to get funding from these financiers as well as the banks. So going down there at the conference, I'm the keynote speaker to be talking about creating more vehicles of funding available for small mom and pop shops, and hopefully Cayman Islands will be a beneficiary as well as the rest of the Caribbean in respect to developing our tourism products. So I'll be away until Friday, and I just want to send some love to everybody. Make sure you have a wonderful day, and all the kids who are out of school, make sure you don't tear the house apart while you guys work. Just remember, you got some homework and some course term projects to do. Get those out of the way, and then go have some fun. With that being said, thank you so much.
Before you go, Minister, I have a question in relation to the banking area. Now we know that the Eastern Caribbean, they have their own financial institutions over there, and some sort of a central banking system as well. We know that here in the Cayman Islands, some of the financial institutions here also have branches over there, but I believe that there is only one financial institution here in the Cayman Islands that is headquartered over in the Eastern Caribbean in terms of Trinidad. And I know this is probably just something that you're going to talk about now, but how would that translate to the Cayman Islands in terms of our ability to access any of those benefits?
Well, the hope and goal is that it will have a direct access. We all know that Cayman National was purchased by the Republic Bank, which headquarters are in Trinidad. Right. And hopefully, many Caymanians do bank at Cayman National. So hopefully, as this forum discusses about de-risking and lowering the risk for small businesses, and usually that's what causes the lack of access to funding and financing, is that small businesses that don't always have, the credit history or the experience or the training and the resume or the collateral to come up with. That's why normally they don't get the access. So I want to borrow $10,000 or $20,000 to start a tour operation or whatever the kind of product is that you want to do. And I'm speaking particularly for tourism because I'm the Minister of Tourism. But there's other businesses that can be done by Caymanians. And hopefully within this context, they can recognize that small businesses are 40% of the region's economy. And that is a very big body of opportunity for the banks to talk to them about doing things like what we do with the Small Business Development Center, whereby you create incubation periods and training opportunities to help them along so the risk is a lot less, so you're more willing to give money. So we're trying to get the whole Caribbean association of banks to think that way, and then obviously open up the pool of funding available for all of the Caribbean, and of course Cayman included in that. But the context of which I'm going is a chairman for the Caribbean. So I speak for all islands.
Yeah.
But obviously Cayman will be at the forefront of that because the chairman is from the Cayman Islands. And I use examples of what we are doing in Cayman, as well as CNB headquarters now being in Trinidad, maybe speaking with the CEOs and the heads over there. We can see where CNB can get that opportunity, along with the other banks that are here as well.
Okay, Minister, I know that you can think while on your feet as well. And while I have you on the line, you know me, going to try to hold you there as long as I possibly can. I was reading something the other day where persons were pointing out the various tourism accommodations that will be coming online. And I think in the vicinity of Dixie Cemetery itself, there are at least 2, possibly 3 that are coming online. How are we going to meet the challenge of controlling or immigration numbers or work permits and the whole challenge that we have in terms of the number of permanent residency and Caymanian status? How are we going to balance that against the need for us to employ more persons to be employed at those entities?
Well, as you know, because you had the minister on the show on Friday, we have a new minister responsible for immigration, Mr. Honorable Isaac Rankin, and I want to give him the opportunity to prove to the country where his skill sets are going to be, and one of those skill sets is going to have to be that balancing act, because we have to ensure that. But
won't we need a policy? Now he can decide what policy he would like to have, but he's going to have the whole government on board in terms of that policy, getting it through.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. So with a new minister, because every minister is charged with driving the leadership approach within the ministries upon which they're responsible. So that minister will go off with the technocrats to come up with structure and policy idea, and then come out to caucus and say, guys and girls and ladies and gentlemen, this is where I think is best based on the research and so forth. And then we agree to that. Now, obviously, whenever you have an immigration minister change, the narrative can change a little bit and different ideas can come up. So obviously, as we've been transitioning from COVID when we took over in 2021 to where we are today, the immigration balance of labor has changed tremendously. So obviously, we didn't have any work going on at all during COVID other than the local consumption. And then COVID went away and the economy is booming again. So the need for workers has increased. But the balance of prioritizing the residents as well as work permit holders is one that has to be constantly monitored, because there's a difference between allowing persons to work here and allowing persons to stay here for a long period of time, meaning residency or status. 2 different worlds, and I think that sometimes we don't distinguish the difference between the two. So there's a labor market, because in my mind, you can give somebody a job here if there's needed labor, but that doesn't mean you have to give them the guarantee to stay in the country. The residence and status process is a totally different thing, and you know that I have strong views in respect to that, and it's time to protect our country by way of ownership, because the more people we add to that pool, the more costs we have and the more divvying up of the pie with this great economy that our forefathers have created. So I give full support to the new minister, the Honorable Isaac Rankin, and we're waiting for some of those proposals to be outlined, and then you can see us accepted as a country and as a government as to the way forward. I'm glad to know that some of the things he's mentioned so far are positive based on what I've heard, and I look forward to us discussing it further in caucus and then getting the cabinet paper resolved, and then come back to the public and say, here's our different angle, a different route to ultimately getting the same thing, which is protecting Caymanians and making sure there's enough labor here for the economy that we have. But I always believe in the supply and demand formula. And I always think there should be a stronger demand than there is supply, because when there's too many people supplied, it kind of messes with the labor market, and that's where Caymanians get disenfranchised. I'd rather businesses begging for work permits or begging for workers than actually having so easy access to the labor market, because if it's so easy to get a work permit, then you don't have the initiative or the motivation to focus on the Caymanian people, which are the top priority. So you always have to keep them wanting. And from a demand perspective, I always want them wanting it rather than loosely having it available for them.
And I believe, I believe that most rational persons would agree that, yes, we need workers. We're going to need workers. I think where the balancing act is and where we have to satisfy Caymanians' aspirations is that they don't want the pathway to citizenship or to Caymanian status to be so easy for those persons who be allowed to come simply to work. They should be considered, as migrant workers or whatever, but they come and they go. Minister, I want to thank you. Thank you very much. I wish you safe travels as well and look forward to hearing you when you return.
Thank you, OC. God bless you. Have a good day.
Thank you. Folks, we're going to take a commercial break. When we return, we're going to have another former minister, former member of parliament on the phone. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
West Bay Pharmacy. Personalized medicine, customized care to meet your specific needs. Your body is unique to you. Your medicine should be too. Whether you're seeking individual specific medication, correct size dosages, or simply better tasting medicine, ask your pharmacist or healthcare provider about how compounding at West Bay Pharmacy can increase your treatment options, not only for your family, but for your pets too. West Bay Pharmacy, open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m., Sundays and most holidays from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Can you imagine your home completely organized? At Brand Source Custom Closets, we can. We specialize in designing and building custom closets and storage units for any room in your home, including the garage. With tailored designs and custom LED lighting solutions to fit your lifestyle and budget. Our custom closets expert is committed to enhancing the value of your home with a solution that is uniquely yours. Visit our showroom or call 623-6774 to schedule a no-obligation appointment with our design expert. Brand Source Custom Closets, 209 Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. I go in flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old girl.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the People's Station, your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. No guests in the studio, but we don't necessarily have to have the guest in the studio for us to have a conversation. And it's my pleasure to have on the phone with me now none other than former minister, former member of parliament, Mr. Arden McLean. I just want to say to our listening audience, if you listen, those of you who are listening and you have an intention of calling in, to hold off on your calls for now while we go through this interview with Mr. McLean. And this could touch on anything from agriculture, since he's a farmer now, to I don't know what. You know, really could encompass a whole lot. So without any further comments, Mr. McLean, good morning, sir. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. For the Record, according to you. And to the people that are your audience as well.
Yes.
A couple issues I think I need to touch on.
Okay.
Because over the last few months, I've become a little, not upset, but I believe a little concerned, should I say, with the manner in which this country is being governed. And I have tried to stay out of it, but it appears like no one else wants to touch on the subject.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, see, I see where John resides, right, from cabinet. And every media outlet that I have visited on the internet, John is calling on the Premier to step down. Now, we'll see, I'm not here to defend Wayne, nor anyone. I want to talk about the process.
Okay.
I want to talk about the governance of a country, in particular, our country. Provisions are made throughout our laws and constitution to ensure that there is good governance. Those provisions and processes have been exercised, implemented over the many years in recent history that I can recall, and many other people will. Now, John is calling on this Premier to resign. Now, he also said that there were a number of them who were supposed to resign with him. I saw that someplace. Well, to John, I say to him that Caymanians have been plagued with that, so you need to be very careful. Plagued with it to the point where a former administrator even spoke of it, that everybody wants to be captain, but nobody wants to stand up and be counted. And when you decide to go with the crowd, when you reach the real house, nobody's behind you when you look around. So you got to be very careful who you take as friend and take in your confidence that they're coming with you. Now, we'll see. I think it's unfortunate that John can go on the radio and talk about the Premier's stepping down when there is another process. It is. The Constitution is very specific. A vote of no confidence will remove that Premier. Or see, the standing orders, which has not been updated, requires 7 members to call a session of Parliament. And the Speaker can't do anything about that. If 7 members represent themselves to the Speaker has to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Call it, but you need to specifically say why you're calling it. Now, they can do that. Now, it really should be Ken that do it, but because that would be the majority, you see. But the standing orders, be that as it may, they have not been updated. Sometime we had 12 members, you see.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the majority of 12.
Okay.
And that's what caused that. And once that has been done, then the Premier is removed. The government is removed.
If there's a successful vote of no confidence.
Yes, if there's a successful vote of no confidence. And I gotta get to that because we have 19 members. Mr. Panton is but one. In our recent history, we have had a number of times I can count off, and other people in this country will remember them. Tom Jefferson was here the government business. He went beyond official business by the time Truman was there. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
He was absent when they removed him. Kurt was removed. Edna walked with him. McKeewa was removed. and we formed the government, an interim government amongst all of us. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now the country, in each instance, went on. What that says to me is that no man is indispensable, or woman for that matter. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Why is it that they are blaming Wayne for not stepping down and trying to carry that narrative throughout this country? What, to get people to pressure Wayne to step down? I'm not defending Wayne. I don't know what is going on in there. I'm not there, okay? But the rumors are, and the press releases, the press articles are, that they seem to be pressuring Wayne to step down. Remove him. But you know, it's not that, OC. They don't want to utilize that provision in the Constitution. It is akin to cowardice, okay?
But isn't it also could possibly be a dangerous political move as well? Because when we look at where we are from a financial position, we need a budget that has to be passed eventually. Isn't timing also, important, an important element in all of this?
So you think that only Wayne got his? You think that Wayne developed that budget?
No. What I'm saying is that a change of government at such a pivotal time has nothing to do with the skill set that is there. It has to do with the timing.
Oh, see, it's not that.
I'm not saying that that's what it is, but I'm saying shouldn't that be taken into consideration?
Yeah, but what it is not a matter of change in government. The premier, there's another provision in the Constitution which says that the premier, on consultation with the governor, can call a new election. So what I believe is that these guys are afraid. It is about self-preservation. No, they want Wayne to step down for love of country. So where is their love of country, the other 18 members? That's my question. Remove him, and or go to the legislature, and if he calls a general election before you get there, goes to the governor, and the governor agrees that there is a need because he has lost his members has lost confidence in him. A new election will be called, and it will be called in 6 weeks. They are all afraid of their own position. Oh, see, nobody wants to say this, but that is the crux of the matter. You need to blame the other 18 members. If Wayne is so bad, if Wayne is so dangerous to the good governance of this country, then remove him. Do not be afraid. Do not play this coward game of being afraid to come and face the public. Now, the public needs to hold them accountable. If this country is off its rails, their responsibility on behalf of the people of this country is to put it back on rail. And if it means one man has to be sacrificed to do that, they need to do it. They need to get up and do what they were asked to do, which is to govern the country. When we removed McKeever, Mr. Miller and I when the members called Mr. Miller and I on around the 17th of December, 2012, Mr. Miller and I decided to call the governor to go and meet with him. We went and met with the governor at the governor's house, along the road. And my question to him was, what is your intention if we remove McKeever? He said, well, England has said that I was instructed by England to respect the wishes of Parliament. And he asked us why we were asking him. And I said, well, it is better for me to deal with the devil I know, because I don't know if England is going to to take over this country, and I'm not going to accept that. We are capable enough of running our own country. Now, we are going to the parliament, and I am going to give those guys my commitment to remove McKeever since he will not step down. And we are going to install a new premier. Mm-hmm. And that's how this is going to go, as an interim government. And those of us in the opposition supported that interim government until the general election May 2013. Oh, see, we need to stop playing with the governance of our country. We need to use some means of intelligence and courage, integrity, and justice for the people and for the job that we were sent there to do. And I'm not preaching that we'll see about campaigning. There's no campaign. So I know that that's not part of it. But I am one, and I have had this record, and people know in this country that I am going to tell them the truth, and they know that I will cause discussions, whether they like it or not. The truth, and I learned that from my father. When I used to fight my father, tell me the truth now, because I'm going to beat you anyway. And if you don't tell me the truth, when I find out the truth, you get in the second licking.
Yeah, Mr. McLean, I'm going to interrupt you there. We're going to take a commercial break. Don't hang up. Stay on the line. When we return, the conversation will continue with former minister, former member of parliament, Mr. Arden McLean. Please stay tuned.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Introducing Digicell's all-new prepaid plans. Packed with more any-use data than ever before. Entertainment data for the apps you love, like Netflix, Spotify, YouTube, and TikTok. Plus, endless social data for Snapchat, WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. So you're always in the know. Stay connected. Stay entertained with Digicell's new prepaid plans. Activate in the My Digicel app today. Digicel. Better connected.
International Diabetes Federation records reflect 6.1 adults aged 20 to 79 years old in the Cayman Islands live with diabetes. 537 million adults the world over live with diabetes. November is World Diabetes Awareness Month. November 14th is World Diabetes Awareness Day, marking the birthday of Dr. Frederick Banting, the insulin co-discoverer. We, Rotary Central, along with the Health Services Authority, invite you to a free health screening: blood sugar, cholesterol, blood pressure, hemoglobin, A1C, BMI, and free physician's consultation. Saturday, November 4th, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Two convenient locations: A.L. Thompson's Georgetown, cost you less, Governors Square, West Bay Road. Mark this date that could change your life for better. Rotary Health Check, Saturday, November 4th. Rotary, creating hope in the world.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. One of our listeners has written in and said former Minister McLean is right on point. Thank him for having what it takes to speak up for what is right and what is true. So my question for Mr. McLean, and I want to compare and contrast what is happening in the U.S. Congress today, where we see that if you're going to tear something down, you better know what you're going to replace it with. Otherwise, you will be in a pickle. And of course, the jury is still out now on the Republicans, and we won't know, what their fate will be until after the November 2024 elections. Now, Mr. McLean referenced his meeting along with former minister and former member of Parliament, Mr. Ezard Miller, meeting with the governor in terms of replacing one of our former leaders. And he expressed his fear of intervention by the UK, and as a result of that, expressed his fears, but also went with a plan in terms of what they intended to do. Because the voting public, the public can be quite unforgiving if you upset the apple cart and you have nothing to replace the apple cart with. So, Mr. McLean, do we believe that you've expressed your view that you believe it was as a result of self-preservation why no change was made? We have heard some rumors of approaches being made to the opposition in terms of forming a government, but that it would have meant certain persons who are current ministers would not have received a ministerial position in any iteration of a new government. So how important it is to have something in place if you're going to tear something down, especially when you need planning approval, and planning would be the public.
It is extremely important that we plan for continuity. It must be seamless, and we must be men and women enough to come out to the public and say, this is what has happened. Mm-hmm. Let them be the judge. And if we are afraid of losing our seat in our position, that is self-preservation. Or see, when you witness Kurt Tippett's and my interaction when I was a member of cabinet, you witnessed that. Mm-hmm. I never embarrassed him in there, but I tell him we got to talk about that one later. You know how many times I argued with Kurt Tippett? 4 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, Kurt turned up at my house. Bobo, let's go throw 2 line up. And we stayed there till sunrise and work that out.
Okay.
By the time I left, they had me eaten out of his hands. Okay? But he always compromised and gave me something that I could feel I was winning. Okay? Look at the disconnect this government currently operates with, or within, should I say. The latest thing, Julia, come out down saying that her intervention is the only reason why Berner apologized. the premier saying he didn't know anything about it. Well, you can't expect him to say anything else because he can't afford to lose another one now. Okay? That would really tip the cart on him. But if we are going to govern, we need to compromise. Not everything Green does is going to be right, but not everything they want to do is going to be wrong either. So it's compromise on all sides, and it must be compromise with the opposition. And if some iteration meant that some of those ministers had to lose their position, you would tell me they can't come out and say I did it in your interest? But no, they don't want to lose it. You have a year left, or year and a half left, or whatever for election. Come out and tell the people. Come to the people. They engage you to manage their country. You see, the people in this country are more upset now than they have ever been because they feel like this is the worst government since Columbus landed, and it's doing nothing for them, despite the ministers come down saying what they're doing and whatnot. It is only a select few that is benefiting from those things, whether it's housing or whatever. The cost of living is killing Caymanians. And then the opposition goes on the radio and talk about reducing CUC Judas and the what. We need to sit down. They need to come together and decide where this country is going to go. I see Roy, he is wavering between compromise and maintaining the opposition position. But see, it is becoming too much now. We get burning the second time now that he has fallen foul of his responsibilities and respect. We need to do something. These guys, and see, the reason why I've stayed out of this is that you must give the new government an opportunity to govern before you start commenting on them. And they have had
2 years is pretty a long time in politics.
Ample time to prove to this country that they are capable. And I shudder at the thoughts of what is going on inside their cabinet and in their caucuses. I wonder how it's being managed. See what you want about Alden? You didn't see anything out on the street about him, because he kept his in the straight and narrow lane, always between the white line, never crossing the yellow line. Show me which one crossed the yellow line unless I went private with him. And Kurt was the same way. Kurt had a different approach than Alden. Kurt come to you with offering roses and not take the thorn yet, but make you grab hold of the rose. And Kurt is good at that. Kurt is good at that. I mean, he could sell ice to the Eskimos in the dead winter. Alden is not that good, but Alden has a different way.
Different approach,
Yeah, and here we are, and I feel sad. I am saddened by it, OC.
Now, isn't that an indictment of this whole belief in this concept of having independent members of cabinet?
See, let me explain to you something. The public mightn't remember, but I remember because it was me. In 2000, when I was elected, we went through the same process. And I am yet to write my memoir so I can explain all that. But let me give you a little snippet of that. We were elected on the 8th day of November, 2000. We were sworn in on the 15th day of November, 2000. All of the goings-on made us decide to have a meeting, those of us who were outside and not forming the government. Have a meeting on the courthouse steps on the 14th night. It was packed. I was one of the first to speak, and I said the only thing that is going to stop this horse trading is a party system with discipline, ideals, objectives, and the whatnot. When I sat down, I was sitting right next to Frank McField. He said, this is your last time getting elected. Because people are not going to buy into that. By the 8th day of November 2001, I'll never forget it. I walked into Jose gas station and McKeever called me. He said, boy, I've been trying to get you all weekend. I said, well, I don't know, but you get me on the same phone that I had all weekend. He said, well, we form a government and we form a party and we're going to take this country over. I said, listen, I didn't put Kurt them there. I ain't taking them out. And I didn't vote for them out. And by February of 2002, Edna, Kurt, Alden, Anthony, myself, and Miss Lucille formed the party too, you know.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm going to interrupt you there. Hold that point for me. We're going to our headline news. When we return, folks, the conversation with former Member of Parliament, Mr. Arden McLean, will continue. Don't change that dial. Please stay tuned. And remember now, I've been advised by some of our listeners that they can access us on YouTube as well. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
You are listening to Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
The Headline News is brought to you by Health Services Authority and the Ministry of Tourism and Transport.
Workforce opportunities and residency Cayman offices in the BRAC have moved to a new location starting today. They're no longer inside the district admin building and can now be found behind it in a new office space called the District Administration Annex Building. They'll be in Unit 2. This new office is open to customers starting today, and office hours will remain the same Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. In international headlines, Israeli warplanes are striking targets across Gaza ahead of an expected ground offense in the besieged Hamas-ruled territory. Fears of a widening war have grown as Israel struck targets in the occupied West Bank, Syria, and Lebanon, and traded fire with Lebanon's Hezbollah militant group. 2 aid convoys arrived in the Gaza Strip over the weekend through the Rafah crossing from Egypt. Israel says the trucks carried food, water, and medical supplies. Israel has not allowed in fuel, which is critically needed for water and sanitation systems in hospitals. The war, in its 17th day today, is the deadliest of 5 Gaza wars for both sides. U.S. Senator Bob Menendez returns to court today to enter an expected not guilty plea to a conspiracy charge, alleging he acted as an agent of the Egyptian government when he chaired the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. The 69-year-old was scheduled to appear this afternoon before Judge Sidney Stein at federal court in Manhattan. The New Jersey Democrat stepped down from his powerful post leading the Senate committee after he was charged last month. Prosecutors said the senator and his wife, Nadine Menendez, accepted bribes of cash, gold bars, and a luxury car over the past 5 years from 3 New Jersey businessmen in exchange for a variety of corrupt acts. Those are your headlines. I'm April Cummings.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
The Headline News is brought to you by Health Services Authority and the Ministry of Tourism and Transport.
I am Heather Bodden, MP for Savannah and a lifelong advocate for the environment. Illegal dumping is a crime, so please take civic pride in our home and put litter where it belongs. If you see someone littering, report it to the Department of Environmental Health on 949-6696.
Be a part of the solution, not the pollution. Littering is a crime punishable by a $500 fine or 6 months in prison. Brought to you by the Beautification Task Force and Ministry of Tourism and Ports.
The Health Services Authority has over 120 world-class physicians offering the most comprehensive range of specialist services on island. Our dedicated team of professionals provide the highest quality care in orthopedics, interventional radiology, women's health, geriatrics, and a host of other specialist areas. We are a JCI accredited organization with a proven record of excellence. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you.
For more information, visit hsa.ky.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. It is our pleasure to have on the phone lines with us this morning none other than former minister, former member of cabinet, former member of parliament, Mr. Arden McLean. Mr. McLean, sorry about the interruption there, but go right ahead.
I know you were going to say that you got paid a bill, so see, for the benefit of the listening audience and for the whole Cayman Islands, I want to say and make it very clear that I am a party man. I ran in the 2000 election as an independent. I ran 1992, remember, as an independent as well. But I believe in politics. It brings a number of disciplines that is required in politics.
Mm-hmm.
And you subscribe to a particular ideal. Now, when I left PPM in 13, the ideals, as I saw them, we were diverting too far. The divergence was too much for me. And
do you care to go into detail?
No,
or are you going to leave that for your memoirs? Your memoir.
Yeah, because my memoirs are going to be entitled "Only in the Islands," all that, But see, I am not contesting another election.
Mm-hmm.
I promised to my father that 2000 was the last time that I was going to go as an incumbent, and I made a promise to my sons that the day after the last election that I lost, that I would never do it again. I lost too much time with my children. And they're adults now, so maybe I can make up. I hope I can. But I'm not doing that again. But I will forever be involved. What do I have to lose? So see, you may ask, I have a whole country to lose, my friend. That's what I have to lose. And I am not going to sit down and watch people who don't understand this thing, who don't take the time to understand it, who doesn't broaden their knowledge on what their responsibilities and good governance is about, and sit down and allow them to destroy the country that I hope to pass on to my two boys and their children. I am not going to do that, OC. And people will say, well, Arden, you can come out there, former colleagues, and say that about them. Yes, I can. Of course I can. And I will be involved. And all those who don't think that I'll be involved, watch me on somebody's platform come the next election. But it must be organized. It must be under party structure. I'm not going on anybody's platform to endorse them. We have been there. 2005, we had a party. PPM won overwhelmingly. No other party has ever won in this country an overwhelming vote. Someone went and joined them. PPM, on the two instances that they governed, people went and joined them. But they were majority PPM. But I am going to be involved. I left this politics after serving my country for 20 years, OC, and no one can tell you I hid behind anybody. Where am I going to voice my opinion? If I go north, the Cubans will stop me. If I go south, the Central Americans will stop me. I go west, it's more Central America. Where do I go? But right here. And that's our problem. We are afraid to voice our opinion because we're concerned of what people are going to say about us.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Well, my approach to that is, OC, I am staying focused on what I need to do. What people think about me is not my business. They need to be concerned about that. concerned about myself and what my focus is now. But I did 20 years. All those who would otherwise criticize me, come out and give your country 20 years now. 20 years I walked away from politics with my head high. And these guys need to learn how to do that. Or they're going to set unhealthy precedents in this country for generations to come. Mm-hmm. They need to stand up and show what governance is meant to do for people, especially the more unfortunate, the more vulnerable people. It's about lifting people. Mm-hmm. We need to stop every time new members came into Parliament on their maiden speech. I told them, do not allow any individual or any entity to determine your political future or career. These guys don't do it. I mean, I know we got new people in their OC, and they want what they want. They want to impress their constituents and that kind of stuff. And I'm easy with that. But they must learn that there is such a thing as compromise. You know, much time Kurt shot me down with his old soft talking, but we can do it this way. Mm-hmm. It eventually worked out, but it was years later.
Okay. Before you go, Mr. McLean, we constantly hear criticism about the CUC agreement. And there have been, well, you know yourself, persons accuse you of being involved. Can you speak to that a little bit before you leave us, about the whole process, your role as a minister, and the persons who were charged with the responsibility of negotiating with CUC and coming up with an agreement that was acceptable to the government?
Yeah. Oh, see, and I'm glad you asked me that, because we need to clear the air of this out too. Okay. When I became minister, see, the license was coming up for renewal. It had been 20 years, I think, 6 or 6, I think it was, or something like that, 30 years. 25 years. Anyway, see, I got people together to deal with it. I removed myself from any negotiations. That's not my job as a minister. Not a minister's job to get involved. There are very few laws in this country which say that the minister can give general directions, i.e., if nothing is going on in that particular thing, you can instruct the board of what they want.
Can you talk a little bit about the skill set of those persons that you recruited?
Donna called me when he knew I was going to do it. And he said that there's a man in Jamaica that is supposed to be very good, and he worked for World Bank. Mm-hmm. Donnie gave me the number, the president of World Bank. And I called the gentleman, and he says, I would not recommend anyone else in the Caribbean than him to help you. So, what's his name again? Lord,
Mr. Wint?
Mr. Not Wint. Anyway, I'll remember it. And then I went all the way to Watler as a lawyer, and I engaged him, and I engaged Sammy, and we engaged a company overseas in the United States who had been there before with the government on it. So they did the negotiations. One of the things that the country will never know is what went on behind closed doors. But I instructed them on 2 things, Josie. Ensure the consumer is protected, and number 2, ensure CUC is viable, because and I say this to them, CUC is to Cayman what Chevrolet is to America. But so we've got to ensure we have continuity in electricity, especially for our financial industry and our tourism industry, and our people as well. Now, that took a couple of years to do. We had 3 impasses during that time, you see. So much so that one of them wound up in cabinet. Okay? And that's where that decision was made on how to move ahead. It was win-win, but we both all won. I hear a little young man calling in here now and again. It sounds like a man's voice. What I need to say to him is, at no time was I ever on drugs or alcohol when I instructed those people. I was of clear mind, sound mind, that I knew what I wanted in CUC. We reduced the cost of CUC rates by over 35% of OC. We couldn't do anything about fuel, but we had a base number that from there, and that's what the RCAM does. So for them to increase it, it is based on rates. And it's a complicated thing, and I couldn't stay here long enough to explain that to people. It was no longer on depreciable assets, which include cars and whatnot, and it's 15% on depreciable assets. They now have between 7 and 11 on rate base. Okay? So they need to be very efficient to ensure they don't fall outside that band. Fuel is a different matter. You cannot control fuel. You cannot put a price on fuel because it fluctuates. And right now, fuel is way up. That's what is killing the people in this country. At the time, we reduced, Kurt agreed with me to reduce the fuel price, Judas. As soon as McKeever then got in, they put it back up. And it has been up ever since. Now, I don't know how the Minister of Finance can work on it now. That's entirely up to them if they can. I think it's 50 cents now or something. I don't know how they can do that. But those are the things that needs to be looked at. The other thing that needs to be looked at, technology has advanced since I did this OC. But one of the things I asked them to do was to make provisions for solar, for alternative energy, And they put provisions in there. But who was to know 20 years ago that technology was going to increase the way it has? Now it's time to go back and look at the provisions of technology and how that is saving money and how the consumers can benefit as a result of that OC. But I was clear of sound mind, clear in my purpose, and I executed on behalf of the people of this country. I left this place of politics with a clear mind, with my head high, and I couldn't. And anyone who feels they have enough gumption or authority to accuse me of corruption, let them face me. Because I did this, I left with nothing out of this politics. And let me put it further about CUC, OC. As a loyal employee to CUC, just like I was a loyal employee to this country, on my 10th year of service to CUC, I was given 100 shares. On my 50th year, I was given 150 shares. And I put those into dividend reinvestment, a DRIP plan on the stock market, with CUC stock market, okay, which is Canadian. I think they're somewhere around 1,100 now or 1,500 or something of that nature, because you got to remember 20 years, right? So anyone who thinks that I got anything out of CUC, they should go back and remember how a particular individual wrote the governor about CUC paying my bills during the negotiations and how I was investigated. I hope this resolves all this now, you know. I was investigated. When the commissioner called me, I said, you come. You make sure you have a letter for me to instruct you I instructed them and CUC to produce all, and you remember what Ra used to say, all and sundry, okay? Any information in CUC relating to my accounts. After 6-7 months, my brain little, my memory a little fuzzy now. They responded that there was no criminal behavior.
Mm-hmm.
And all my bills were paid through my account at the bank, okay? McKeever started, and I did a full page in the Caymanian Compass that I personally paid for with that exoneration letter. And I said to McKeever, this is my letter. Where is yours that you have been exonerated? Okay?
Mm-hmm.
You see, I have stood up to the people of this country and along with that last. But I have walked away from there that my children cannot and will not be embarrassed by any of the Cayman or any resident in this country about corruption from me. I should not teach my children that they must be honest when I wasn't. And my father, he told me something when I was going in politics in 92 that rings forever in my ear. And many people should listen to this. I went to tell my two parents that I was going into politics. My father looked at me and said, I don't want you to do that because it's not a good game. And he said, by the way, if you do it, it's your choice. Here's what I'm going to say to you, son. There's only one thing that is important to you that you can lose in this thing called politics. And pause for a very long time, O.C. And he said, it's your name. I want you to know that I gave that to you. I've never forgotten that. In case tomb in Conde, I'm going to visit him and remind him of that. You hear what I tell you? No one is going to point their finger in my face that I took anything from my.
Okay. One of our listeners has reminded us that the gentleman's name, the gentleman that was recruited, his name was Mr. Winston Hay. Mr. Hay. We're going to take a commercial break. When we return, we're going to have some final comments from Mr. Arden McLean. Don't change that dial. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
At Doctor's Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctor's Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Your dream home starts with a vision, and often inspiration is at the heart of that vision. Brand Source Home Gallery's in-house designers are here to help bring your vision to life. Whether you're remodeling or building a new home, Brand Source Home Gallery is your one-stop solution. Explore their kitchen cabinets, sinks, faucets, bath fixtures, tubs, vanities, and more. Let Brand Source's designers help and inspire you with your next project. Call 623-5000 and schedule an appointment with a design expert at Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, serving Cayman for 50 years.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
The world had been reeling with the effects of polio a debilitating disease devastating millions across the world for decades. Rotary International made a commitment, a resolve to take the lead, exerting every effort to eradicate a disease that cripples the body, tears at the soul, cuts life dependency. We are this close to closing an ugly chapter of human tragedy across the globe. Tuesday, October 24th, is World Polio Day. One day, one focus, ending polio. World Polio Day, a time where Rotarians, public health advocates, and all who want a world free from polio come together, recognize our progress in the fight to end polio, talk about the actions that will end polio for good. World Polio Day, Tuesday, October 24th, 1440 minutes, 86,400 seconds. The clock is ticking on polio. Rotary, creating hope in the world.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We have about 6 minutes. We're going to wrap up with Mr. Arden McLean, have a few other WhatsApp opinions that I want to, opinions on WhatsApp that I want to share as well. Mr. McLean, I don't know if you heard me, but one of our listeners said that the person that was engaged via the World Bank, his name was Mr. Winston Hay.
That is correct. How could I forget Mr. Hay? But let me correct something too. Well, see, if I do not mention this gentleman's name, who was pivotal in those negotiations, I will be beaten with a wet towel by Sammy and Holloway. Okay, Charles Farrington.
Yeah.
I want people to know who Charles Farrington is. This man did a 4.0 in University in England, electrical engineer. Wasn't any work in Cayman for him when he came back. He was bored. He went back and he became a CPA, or the English one, whatever that is, with a 4.0 average. You know? He is the smartest Caymanian that has ever walked this earth in those fields. And he is the most unassuming. He reminds me of his mother in West Bay. He's the most, and you know, that was Mr. Benson's sister. He is the most unassuming, but the most capable. Who you think developed that RCAM but him, along with Mr. Hay? Mr. Hay, when I called him to do it, I said, Sir, I got your number from the World Bank and blah, 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 and this is what I'm doing. I would like to know if you were interested in helping me. You know what, man? I had never met him. You know what he said? He said, Minister, it would be my pleasure to help you. Charles Farrington did not take 1 cent from this government during all that negotiation. You hear what I said? No, I had to pay the lawyers because I engaged them on a contract. You understand? I had to pay the other people of the states and bring Mr. Hay. Every 2 weeks, Mr. Hay was here. That was the best team that we could assemble at that time. People need to stop concentrating on me as the politician and how that license is.
Yeah.
Tell them go do better. I recall when I laid that license on the floor of the Legislative Assembly, McKeewa got up and said I did it for my friends. Years later, when he came in power, he wanted to impose it on Kimon Brack Power and Light and Water Company along West Bay Road. Okay? The same RCAM formula. So, see, I think I did well. I represented my constituency in East End and the country in general well during my tenure. He who opposed me, that's fine. The people didn't want me anymore. They won't have that privilege of having me anymore either at this stage. Because Mr. Warren said to me, after the 8th election, I asked Mr. Warren, I said, Mr. Warren, why didn't you run 8th election? He said, Arden, one day I believe you or David is going to represent this district. But I want to remind you of something, and I want you to keep it in your head forever. He says, there comes a time in a politician's life that his ideas are still good, very good, but they're old. Don't do it again. Let the next generation come forward and take their rightful place in their country. They too need to contribute. That is what I am doing, OC. I left with my head high. You know Dan Duguay? When, after the 2009 election, I saw him at a restaurant. He was coming out. I said to him, Dan, you do an audit, forensic audit on here, but why you didn't do it on my ministry? He said, what you want me to do? Tell the public that you had 3 lawsuits hanging over you when you left because you wouldn't pay people the public money? And you were right. That's what I got for the politics.
Okay. Mr. McLean, I want to thank you very much for, giving us, the time that you have. Next time we'll talk about farming and your success and your plans in farming as well. And again, thank you for the service that you have rendered to the people of the Cayman Islands.
All right, buddy. Thanks.
Okay. Folks, we're going to take a commercial break. When we return, one of our listeners has written, and I'll just give you a preview of that. Says the onus should be on the country to invite migrant workers who have lived here for a period to be citizens of the Cayman Islands. That could be quite a controversial statement. Let's look at what else the writer has to say, and we can parse it, we can critique it when we return from this short commercial break. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
So much happening so fast, too much. It is hard for me to follow my health care instructions. The private counseling with West Bay Pharmacy literally saved my life.
At West Bay Pharmacy, we know how complex medications can be. Our pharmacists are delighted to offer you personalized one-on-one healthcare counseling, free medication review, therapeutic callbacks, and we will liaise with your physician to ensure you receive the best in quality medical care.
Quality of life has a whole new meaning with the right pharmacy to support you. Thank you, West Bay Pharmacy.
West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. Convenient quality care is just around the corner. Now you can WhatsApp your West Bay Pharmacy prescriptions to 516-0777. Get ready for more with Digicel's all-new prepaid plans. More any-use data to browse. Entertainment data for Netflix, Spotify, YouTube, and TikTok. Plus, stay connected with endless social data for Snapchat, WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. With Digicel's new prepaid plans, you'll never miss a beat. Activate in the My Digicel app today. Digicel. Better connected.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, K-Man.
Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the people's station. Your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach.
Start your day in the know. Don't miss a beat. Radio Cayman's 7 a.m. news keeps you informed every Monday through Saturday at 7 a.m. Brought to you by Cayman National, proudly serving the Cayman Islands since 1974.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. I want to thank Mr. Arden McLean for staying with us for that length of time and explaining and providing clarity on several issues. So hopefully, for those who are listening or watching, that should clear the air on any doubts or that they may have. So one of our listeners has written and said, the onus should be on the country to invite migrant workers who have lived here for a period to be citizens of the Cayman Islands. Another point, we have allowed companies and individuals to constantly repeat that the reason for hiring outwards is because Caymanians are lazy. No government has refuted that comment. I challenge any politician in the parliament to prove or disprove this comment. Suppose it is ascertained to be somewhat true. The onus, therefore, is on the political directorate to ameliorate the situation. I am asking both sides of the political arena to delve deeply into this situation. We should desist from opening up our doors to migrant workers until this matter is settled. To be on the side of developing Caymanians to be highly skilled workers who can take up high-level positions. I challenge both sides today to take up this matter for a balance in our socio-economic future and for the future of this blessed country that our foreparents have created. My name is Lucille Seymour. So Miss Lucille has put her name to that as well. So, of course, what I have read is open to comment. If anyone wants to call in and comment about it, I'm going to take the first paragraph. The onus should be on the country to invite migrant workers who have lived here for a period to be citizens of the Cayman Islands. My view on that is that we may have a moral obligation, and there may be a legal one as well, and I believe that we are fulfilling our legal obligation that a person who has been here for 9 years, after year 8, that they're eligible to apply for permanent residence. Now, prior to that, we claimed that we had taken steps to address the situation with persons who had resided in the Cayman Islands for long periods of time and were not eligible to apply for permanent residence. Hence, one of the excuses given for the status grants in 2003. We should not forget also that there was a 10-year period when, under the old immigration law, Cayman Islands Protection Law, 1972, there was a 10-year period. I think there was a quota of 12 per year of status grants. We went 10 years without granting any because the government placed a moratorium on that. That was successfully challenged, and the government relented on that situation. But to say now that we have that the onus is on the government to invite migrant workers who have lived here for long periods to be citizens of the Cayman Islands, I take an issue with that. We have a legislation. The legislation is in place. It tells you what to expect when you come to the Cayman Islands to work. Some people believe that we're already too generous with the 8-year and 9-year. On year 8, you can apply for permanent residence, that we're too generous with that. Those of you who have recently looked at the numbers in terms of our population and the makeup of our population, and we see where Caymanians fall in that equation, we should take pause. There should be room for concern in that endeavor. There are those who believe that we should make a distinction between persons coming to work in the Cayman Islands, exclusively to work in the Cayman Islands. We determine what period they're allowed to work in the Cayman Islands. And we have to go back and do our research now and to see and to determine whether issues like the Treaty of Rome, what significance that has. We can also take a page out of the administering country, some of us refer to as the mother country, to see the approach that is being taken there as far as immigration is concerned. And we see a global concern about immigration as well. This little 2x4 island that we have here in the Cayman Islands, we're not allowed the luxury of saying to people, you can come and work in the Cayman Islands on a work permit, and with an expectation that after a period of time being here, you will be allowed to remain permanently, obtain a citizenship under which we have no control. The only control that we have over that citizenship is whether or not the person is able to remain in the Cayman Islands without any condition being placed on the time that they may remain in the country. Now, the only time that you are in that category where there is no condition on the time that you may remain in the territory is if you obtain permanent residence, and that's a particular type of permanent residence, or if you obtain Caymanian status. Because there are, or there used to be, when I last checked, various forms of permanent residence, including persons of independent means, which meant that they can reside in the Cayman Islands without the need to work. They can maintain themselves. They have their medical insurance. They have sufficient funds in a financial institution. They have a home where they to live in. They're not going to become a charge on the government of the Cayman Islands. Then you have persons with permanent residence with the right to work. You have certain persons who have permanent residence that is granted for 25 years. Now, if you granted permanent residence for 25 years, there is a limitation on the time that you may remain in the Cayman Islands. It is 25 years. So we were, in the legislation, they were able to carve that out, but we have kept this part that says that if you've been here for 8 years, upon year 8, you can apply for permanent residence. Then to put in all the mix with that, we put some of the provisos in there. You had to own property in the Cayman Islands. And folks, that had all of the unintended consequences that you could ever expect. Why do you believe that you have to have Minister J. Ebanks talking about affordable homes in every district in the Cayman Islands, people calling for affordable homes. Why is that? Because other homes have been placed outside the reach of the ordinary Caymanian, because those developers who are building, they're building to satisfy the needs and the legal requirements of those persons who want to reside permanently in the Cayman Islands. So when we talk about the whole issue of unintended consequences, that is one that we have experienced here in the Cayman Islands. So let's look at what else the person spoke about. But before we go there, we're going to take our last commercial break. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
Are you feeling sick but don't feel ill enough to go to the doctor? Ask your pharmacist for advice. Here at West Bay Pharmacy, our pharmacists have been trained to offer helpful, easy-to-understand advice on the treatment of everyday minor ailments for yourself and all the family. Anything from headaches, cough, and sore throat to cold sores, our pharmacists will know when medical help is needed and will not hesitate to refer you to your doctor if your symptoms demand it. Like doctors, our pharmacists have a professional code, which means all personal information you give them will be treated in the strictest confidence. Visit us today at West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
Cayman Islands, clear your calendars because something extraordinary is coming your way. Ignite the Fire, hosted by Christ for All Nations, is roaring into the Lions Center from November 29th to December 3rd. Join us for an epic worship and gospel event, a monumental move of God that will transform lives and reveal destinies. Don't miss this 5-night, once-in-a-generation experience. Be a part of history in the making. Ignite the Fire, Cayman. Mark your date, November 29th to December 3rd at 6:30 p.m. nightly, and get ready for an unforgettable spiritual journey that will set your heart ablaze. Cayman and you will never be the same again.
The Fall 2023 Labor Force Survey is currently being conducted by the Economics and Statistics Office. The Labor Force Survey collects data on employed and unemployed persons. Trained interviewers with ESO ID cards will visit randomly selected households. The interviews are confidential in accordance with the Statistics Act. No individual data will be published or disclosed. Survey data are exempt from Freedom of Information requests. For more details, please call the ESO hotline on 516-3329.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We're on the last leg of the show this morning. One of our listeners has written and said it is beyond ludicrous to be thinking of inviting people to become citizens of these islands. No one is forced to stay in these islands, and they are free to go back to their home or else. It's way past time that we think of our own indigenous Caymanians and look out for their best interests. I am so disgusted with our own people who you expect better from to come up with such unbelievable and way past ignorant ideas. I am seething with anger and will suffice to end it there. One of our other listeners said they first wrote that the distinction that is hurting Cayman and allowing abuses is that invisible and still undefined term of natural citizens. Also, that is the word native. We are not the social services of 140 nationalities and their clans. And they go on to say this is a consequence of gross omission of duty and purpose. So it seems. And another person has written and said, that clause destroy the future and dreams of every young person in Cayman for many generations to come. That clause jerked the carpet from under the feet of those young Caymanians that took the time to get through with the education and experience requirements to get a good enough job to qualify for a mortgage or to afford a piece of land. Okay. And this person says, good morning, I agree with your comments. We are too generous in the way we hand out PR and status grants. If you come here to work, that should not give you the right to live and stay here. Just look at a country as big, full of resources and infrastructure as the United States, and look at how strict their migration policies are. Or loose immigration policies is the biggest part of the problem that Caymanians are facing. Caymanian kids have to go on waiting lists to be accepted into private schools because they are clogged up with the kids of expatriate workers. If Caymanians can't be educated, how are we to develop as a nation? We do have one caller. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, O.C.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you now?
I'm good. I heard your discussion with Mr. McLean this morning.
Mm-hmm.
A very lengthy one.
Yeah, and it was intended to be.
I guess we cleared the air on a few things. Yeah. O.C., concerning what you're talking about now with the inviting people to be permanent residents or whatever it is they want to achieve. Don't you really think, O.C., that we have been too lenient and we have given too many of what they're asking for in the first instance? The status grant was ridiculously out of hand. And since that, I think we might be at triple the amount of people that we have allowed to become something that we now have to prove ourselves. Understand, there's, I got schoolmates who were telling me that they had to take paperwork to various job entities, establishment, and even government to prove that their child, or to apply for their child to be what it's supposed to be, Caymanian. You know, I hope that don't have to come to me to prove anything, because I'm definitely not going to do it. You know, definitely not going to do it. But I'll say, why is it we so keen on growing our population artificially? Most countries now are protecting their borders. Most countries are looking at being overpopulated. I remember in Barbados at one particular time, or I think it's still happening, where they're very concerned about the population. They're almost overpopulated for the size of square footage of property that they have. And that if we continue growing the population, that 1 point something acre property you have that you're sitting on, that will have to be cut down eventually too, you know.
No point to it, just 1 acre, no point.
That have to split up in about 4 pieces if we keep growing the population. O.C., what about have they consider O.C., all the offsprings that are here now from the same people that have obtained status, and it seems like the people that we have given status to tends to breed more than the local people. I see them with a lot of kids around behind them. So what can happen when those kids grow up? Yeah. Don't you think we have enough people now on island to do whatever we need to do, grow the population?
Mm-hmm. What what our politicians need to realize is that appointing new members to boards, especially immigration boards, whether it be the permanent residence and status board, whether it be the business staffing plan board, whether it be the work permit board, is not going to help the situation, because many people go on those boards feeling quite enthusiastic, feeling that they are empowered, and when they get there, they realize how legislation has tied their hands. So the first and foremost, the approach has to be to change the legislation, change the government's policy.
I've been saying that over and over, OC. That's what we have to do. But what they do, like you said, they put people on the board, and at some particular conversation, when you catch them, it was the board. Yeah, but the board couldn't do anything because, like you said, their hands are tied. OC, I think to take us out of this whole thing, we need to reduce the term limit of work on the island. That's what we need to do, and take them away from applying altogether.
And like what I have said before, and one of our listeners last weekend pointed out as well, that we need to decouple the ability for a person to work in the Cayman Islands. That should be a separate thing. That should not be connected whatsoever with your ability to obtain permanent residence or status. That, if we do that, that would be the first step in all of this. That solves at least 50% or 75% of the issue as far as immigration is concerned.
Yeah, but they just have to do it, because right now I'm not comfortable with the changes of the attitude and culture of our small island. It's happening can you imagine, in one generation?
Mm-hmm.
The changes is in one generation. I can tell you a little story. I have a cousin who's like a deputy to the director of a government authority.
Mm-hmm.
8 generation Caymanian. Her husband is like 6, 7 generation. Went to England to take their kid. Came back, stand in the Caymanian line. Individual with a Jamaica accent approached them and say, "Hey, you're standing in the wrong line." She said, "No, I'm Caymanian, and my husband is Caymanian." "Yeah, no, you got to go over there because I see you holding a British passport." Right?
I think I know that individual because we had similar experiences coming in, and it's not an CBC officer per se. It is someone there who's mainly there to ensure that that the lines flow smoothly. But they've taken that responsibility upon themselves to determine who is who and where they go.
Well,
and it's a female. It's a female. I'm going to say that much about it.
It's a female.
Yeah.
And my cousin quickly pull out her Cayman passport, her and her husband, and identify. Say, "No, I'm Caymanian." And she looked through the passport, take her passport, and inspect it. She said, "Oh no, this is expired." She said, "Yeah, but that doesn't say that I'm still not Caymanian."
The things that we put our people through.
The conversation.
The things that we put our people through in this country. Second-class citizens. Second-class citizens.
Well, see, they pick on a very highly intelligent, very well-behaved citizen. That should have been me or Mr. McLean. And it would be our every task force at the airport. I'm telling you that right now. That better don't happen to me.
Yeah, they need to weed that person out from that line. It is the arrivals in the customs and border control area. The person is not an officer per se. As a matter of fact, I believe that they may be employed by airport authority. I believe.
Well, that's another thing. I'm seeing people up at the airport that I have no idea what they're doing at our airport. That's the next thing we got to sort out. And these politicians that we elect, they better start, like you say, making the right amendment. If not, they are doing nothing, but provoking a civil uprising. They're provoking a civil uprising. I'm on the street 24/7. I have friends come to me and say, "Graham, this is what we have to do. Are you with us or not? We hear you on the radio. And we need you to be a part of our group. We need to nip it, like the more people say, in the bud now before we become like other Caribbean islands. And I heard the minister on there this morning departing to Trinidad. I hope that he don't think that he will become successful in them giving us anything, because they don't think of us like that, okay? They don't think of us like that. They think that we are capable of taking care of ourselves, and we should not be getting any part of any handout that should be going to the Caribbean people. So I hope you don't give me hopes up.
Yep. Lord Graham, thank you very much, for that as well. Let me see if I can share one more WhatsApp message before we go. There was one person who had something to. Okay, this person says, we are calling on the government to expand the arrival hall at the Brack Charles Colonel Airport. Last Saturday, when we arrived on the jet, there was standing room only. It was very hard with people trying to get their baggage. The Honorable Juliana O'Connor Connolly was there and saw it for herself. It needs to be expanded ASAP. Sharing that with you. And at the same time, I'm going to add my little bit to the Brack situation, that when when the work is being done, that work should be given to Brackers and Brackers only. And when the staffing of that airport, additional staffing, it should be to Brackers only as well. Companies, Caymanian companies who are established here in Grand Cayman should not be allowed to have their workers go over to the Brack to do work and taking work out of the hands and taking food out of the mouths of Brackers as well. And folks, that may be a conversation for a different day. With that, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension, For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles, as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. As you know, I also want to remind you that we are our brothers and our sisters' keepers. There is always someone out there who's less fortunate than we are, and I ask you to extend a helping hand to them. If you can't do that, then I suggest you donate to a worthy charity, because we always want to consider those who need, not necessarily those who want or even those who crave. So I say to you, have a great day. Continue to support your radio station, Radio Cayman. Is Sterling on vacation now? I believe it is, but join Sterling, Dwayne Ebanks, or whomever is filling in for him at 12:15 for Talk Today. And as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
For the Record, proudly brought to you by
Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. And JN Money.
From abroad to yard.
Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And now, Barbados. And Digicel, Cayman's bigger, better network.
Continuing the Caymanian tradition.
Let Cora keep my ground so clean.
The heart and soul of the Cayman people. Thank you for keeping the culture alive.
There's the news every day. From East End to Georgetown, down into West Bay.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman